In 2018, a strange website appeared online, seemingly mundane at first. Over time, it began forwarding to other bizarre sites. Online, rumors began to spread about its purpose, but both the website and the discussions surrounding it have since vanished. Today, we discuss the mysterious website known as facefamous.org. This is Red Web. Welcome back, Task Force, to another episode of Red Web, the podcast all about unsolved mysteries, true crime, and the supernatural. I'm your resident mystery enthusiast, Trevor Collins, and joining me hearing about this mystery for the very first time, Alfredo Diaz.
Okay, weird internet stuff. I just don't mess with it, you know? I built my own computer. I've been building my computer for a long time, and just typing in the weird, I don't want viruses, keyloggers, all that kind of stuff. And I feel like that's where you end up getting that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Aside from the the freaky sites, I feel like those are also dangerous to just pick up stuff that you don't want on your computer, you know?
Oh yeah.
And so Task Force, let this be a warning when you start Googling stuff on your computer. Be careful.
Out the gate, be careful. Yeah, these webs, some of them that we're going to talk about are still up and around, kicking. I'm not saying that they're going to do anything, but you're totally right. You got pop-ups that happen. You got malware that forces its way in. There's QR codes now that show up in people's mailbox and they go, I don't know what this is. And then they scan it. Boom, virus on their phone. It's an unhinged world, and it's only been, 4.5 years since we started, but this is going back to our roots, and it was so refreshing to hear you say, I don't mess with it, because I feel like I haven't heard that in a minute.
Yeah.
Because we're back in the saddle of an online mystery, talking about a thing that you can actually go do now. You can get hands-on with it. You can get, what do you say?
Tangible.
Tangible with it?
It's very tangible. It's a little throwback episode, kind of.
It really is. It's a throwback episode. We came down here to sub-level 128 to kind of kick around our old roots. It's very dusty down here. We haven't remodeled in a minute, and I think we got to tear these walls down, you know?
We got to. I look for the squonks because I'm taking them out, but there weren't any to be found.
Yeah, swamp level, we'll never declassify what level that's on, but this man keeps hunting them down.
I'm hunting the squonks down, bro. I saw one might be butt naked running around because I saw a little robe in a closet, and I'm like, I didn't see a puddle, so there might be one running free. And
There was one running free. What is this? The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen? We don't know if squonks are invisible because they aren't seen until they are seen. You know?
It's not invisible. He's just butt naked running around somewhere because there's a robe on the ground, and one of you squonks are missing a robe.
Yeah, so come claim your robe. It's definitely not a trap. He's not got magnifying glasses on, ready for you.
No, there won't be 50 television screens that pop open in a closet that you walk into with eyes.
Like a mousetrap, but instead a bunch of TVs and cameras spring out and boom, you're an instant puddle.
There's eyes everywhere. You're seen.
Yeah. Well, this episode, as you said, is definitely a throwback. I want to say that this outline is a time capsule, not only of this mystery, as you'll come to find out, but also of Red Web. This outline was initially put together back in 2020, the early days of Red Web, and the research and the investigation was actually done during a phase when Christian, our producer who's online right now with us, was the one writing these outlines.
This is a 5-year-old outline we're doing today.
Yeah.
It's been sitting in the oven for 5 years waiting to be ready.
Yep.
And right before the recording, Christian was like, I remember everything.
I remember every single detail. If you have any questions, let me know, he says.
Yep. It's eidetic memory is what I have. Photographic memory.
Your memory's actually pretty good, though, I will say.
Let's lower the bar, please.
It's immense, okay? But here's the thing, we haven't hit the 128 button in a while, so now we're down here, we're kicking it, we're seeing a lot of memories, a couple of puddles now, a lot of dust, but yeah, you printed this outline, set it on the research desk, and then it just left it there. So now we have this perfect rectangle of dust-free desk. And anyway, grab your allergy medicine because it's going to be a dusty one. But since the time of researching this and talking about it, the website has disappeared, right? So when you research this, the website was still up in its original mysterious form, and the website's gone away. But as we kind of went back to this research outline to bolster it, add new information, kind of strengthen it as you do, everything seems to be gone. So it's almost like looking at this is going to stand as a time capsule to the mystery. In fact, even the Internet Archive, as I was researching this, was struggling to show me what the website once looked like. It is there, so you can go check it out on the Internet Archive now if it's up. But this episode's going to serve two goals: to discuss and theorize the purpose of this mysterious website, of course, but two, to document the existence of facefamous.org, its changes, and its complete disappearance from the web. Why it disappeared, is that part of the mystery, or is it part of the mundanity, if that's a word, to this mystery? We'll explore all of that. But before we do, of course, some business at hand. We're talking about Task Force. What is that? Well, it's a place where you can join us in our subterranean bunker. It's where we do all of our research on this. We have hundreds of floors underneath, reconstructing, deconstructing, but we have a lot of members. And if you'd like to join, you get a badge at redwebpod.com. You got members like Vincent404 from the Task Force. You got Werewings from the Elite Team. You got Edith Urbina, part of the Buff Scientists, minds rippling like the leader from Brave New World.
Oh, no.
Now we got an image for it.
No, they might be insulted by that one.
Okay. How about the leader from the comics?
Yeah, do that.
There we go. A little smoother of the temple.
No.
But still just a little vascular. And then, of course, our squonks that Fredo is trying to hunt down, our monthly shout-outs, Andy Schrock, B. Wick, and Gavin Day, just to name a few. And there's a lot going on with your support. Last week, we piloted the video version of this podcast. If you want to go check that out, that will be up only for Patreon. And of course, we're in the midst of March Mystery Madness, where you can come in, vote for free. There's a lot of free things to do with that. Vote on your favorite mysteries. We're doing kind of a bracket tournament, NCAA style. And each week, we're going to do a quick blog, kind of dissecting your comments, your picks and everything. And then we're going to come down to the final four. And we're going to figure out what out of these maybe 64-ish mysteries is Task Force favorite topic. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
But with that, let me take you all the way back to July 2nd, 2018. Facefamous.org was registered on this date through the domain registrar known as GoDaddy. Now, according to a Whois lookup, the registrant was from Turin, Italy. Now, this is simply a way to identify the owner of a domain name, a website, along with usually their contact information. But with that said, as I was kind of digging into this was actually the year that the EU's General Data Protection Regulation went into effect. You might have heard it as GDPR. It was one of Europe's privacy policies, a blanket thing that went into effect on May 2018. And because of this, registrars had to redact most personal information, such as names, emails, addresses. So it is possible, just as a caveat here at the top, that the location of the site's owner may be different. Some of this information could be hidden. There is definitely ways now to hide the IP ownership of a domain, and it could show it as being in a different state, a different city, a different country.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Because usually it was like, oh, this domain, here it is. And it's like, you can get some information pretty easily.
Yeah. I mean, man, this was only 7 years ago, but it still somehow feels like old-ish internet. But yeah, in the wild west of the internet, the early 2000s maybe, turn of the century, if you had a domain name that you were parking or whatever, yeah, people could just go to a Whois and be like, I know exactly who you are. It's like a license plate. You can figure it all out.
Right.
And that's kind of weird. So as the internet got normalized and everyone had an online presence, we had killed the idea of don't put your name online. Now everyone's putting their face all over the place. Privacy came to play, which I do think that there's a need for that, right?
Oh, 100%.
So the last known official update to the site was on July 4th, 2020. There have been updates and IP changes since then, I do want to say. We just don't know if these were the original creators who left, if somebody else picked up the URL, what have you. In fact, before we dive in, it is safe. I've checked it in a, what do they call it when it's removed from the internet? It's like an island computer. It's actually built in a Faraday cage with one small strand of internet cable that then plugs it in. I checked it on that, so I know it's safe.
Oh, okay.
But you take your business computer, Fredo, and you go ahead and type in facefamous.org for me.
Yeah, I'm doing it right now.
Oh, it's called an air-gapped computer, by the way.
Air gapped?
Yeah, it's air-gapped. It's got a buffer of air around it.
Interesting.
No, but seriously though, it is safe. Please go check out facefamous.org. I want to hear your thoughts as we dive in.
Facefamous.org. Oh gosh, give me one of those. Don't pop up. Wake up, Alfred. Whoa. Saying, wake up, Alfredo, ... I see that you're recording Red Web. I think there's something mysterious about this website. Well, not a site, or are you the mystery? Okay, so it's pulling some of the
Hold on a second.
data.
It sees you?
Wake up, Alfredo. Yeah. And then it's just saying, yep, I see you're recording Red Web. See, that was cool. And then I said, I think there's something mysterious about this website. And I'm like, oh, okay. There's where the automation kind of falls apart. It's all black background, green text that pops up. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. What if you were what if you it's like wake up, Alfredo. I see you're on one of those spicy sites.
Listen, I could have buried the lead on this. I could have gotten through the entire mystery. I couldn't wait. So as we were looking at this, Jillian pointed out, because we're talking about registrars, we're talking about the original owner coming and going, maybe staying around, whatever.
Right.
It has transferred ownership several times.
Oh.
And I know that for a fact because I now own this website for at least the next year.
Wait. What? Wait.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Red Web got super tangible with a mystery.
Wait, what?
Yes. Facefamous.org.
Why do you own this?
It was available.
So we own a mystery?
We own a mystery. And I'm not kidding. This is still a mystery, and we're going to talk about it. I thought that this would be such a fun surprise. And wouldn't you know it? I can post the receipt. It was genuinely, for the next year, $6.66.
Wow.
Oh my God. What a great business expense.
Isn't it?
Just skip a coffee for the morning. What? Dude, one, just wild. Absolutely wild. Secondly, wait, so does that thing, like you go to the site, wait, hold on. Wait. So many things in my mind. When you go to the site, does it like pull from your computer just like minute details like that? Or you type that?
This is HTML code. I typed this out just to speak to you like Neo in the Matrix. If you look at the title on the tab, it says Face Famous has you.
Rules. That rules.
All it was initially was wake up, Alfredo. And then I wanted to go, well, how can I make him freak out? Oh, I see that you're recording Red Web.
Yes.
And then the rest is just kind of, I don't know, filler. So it was like, oh, you think there's something mysterious about this website? Is that what you're talking about? You talk about me?
Well, you also wrote there's something mysterious about this website. I thought you were talking about the website like Red Web for some reason.
Oh. I just wanted to be like, how meta can I get?
That is awesome.
Yeah.
That is so cool. Also, yeah, we're pretty legit. We own a piece of a mystery.
Listen, and this, if nothing else, is out of respect to what this mystery was. We'll get into all of it, but I don't know if I'm going to keep this. I don't know if I'm going to put up a mirror of what the website once was. Maybe I should. Try to reconstruct what it was just so it can live for people to look at it again. But confirm now, you heard it here, Task Force. It is owned by us. It is not owned by the original owner. I know it went through a couple of hands, potentially, in theory, as people were tracking it. They didn't know if it was still with them or not. So I'm here to go ahead and say, nope, it's not with them. I'm not going to try to milk this mystery for anything else. But it is, again, time capsuled now. But yeah, so there have been updates, there have been IP changes, the website's gone down and it's forwarded to other places. It's taken some changes since 2020. But when it was first created, it showed that it was a WordPress page filled with articles about behavior in the workplace. And so that's where I have the first screenshot of it for you, Fredo. So these screenshots are available by way of the Internet Archive, which is an amazing place. Basically archives the internet for free, but you can look at the Wayback Machine and explore this website a little bit.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Face Famous home dealing with negativity in business. They're erasing the word negative that's written on like a whiteboard, and there's the word positive that's still hanging around.
Yeah. Just like a standard website, nothing stands out too much. You know, it's got recent posts to the right side. It's very much of a 2010s Tumblr, WordPress blog type.
Even then, it doesn't even have the flash. It's just white on gray background.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you don't know, WordPress was known for being a blogging platform, and it helps with website creation. I'm sure they're still around kicking it, but they were a huge name in the game at that time. Now, you're looking at the most recent article. It's called, as you said, Dealing with Negativity in Business. And a lot of these articles are like this. I'm going to read you a blurb of it just so you can get a sense of what the language on this website looks and feels like, because we'll talk about it. So here's the first article, like a snippet. In the network marketing business, you must learn to deal with all types of personality types, inside and outside of your business. At the beginning, this can be extremely challenging. ... You feel a natural shock against the personalities that do not favor and resist/feed the conflict, etc. Eventually, you begin to enjoy the challenge of reaching these offensive personalities, or you take a step back and realize that some people simply cannot be helped until they are truly prepared, and you should not put any energy into those people. And it kind of goes on like this, but as you can kind of see, I read it verbatim. It has some clunky language to it.
Yeah.
But when scrolling down, I'm curious if you pick up a trend. I want to hear your gut check here. So I'm not going to read any more of the articles, but I will give you a handful of the titles of these articles. So as you scroll down, you'll see How to Stop a Rumor. Do not let your reputation suffer. The next one, Gossip can cause big losses to companies. How to deal with insecurity in relationships. How to treat difficult people with pleasure. Use of gossip for your professional advantage. Gossip plays an important role in bullying in the workplace.
Oh, I mean, it all seems like good and positive.
I feel like it does. And maybe I'm reading between these lines, but it talks about how gossip is bad and like leads to losses in the company. But then it starts to say, but you should use it for your personal advantage. But then it starts to say,
yeah,
it plays an important role in bullying, which makes it sound like bullying is an important thing you should do in a company. But I think it's just, again, that language is uncanny. It's a little off, where it's just saying that bullying has a lot to do with gossip and vice versa. So I do think it is positive intended, but the way it reads feels like subversive, like it's actually trying to be like, yeah, you should totally gossip. Who cares what it does to other people? This is good for you.
Right. Yeah, it's kind of mixed.
Mm-hmm.
Just weird. It's like, what is this site about?
Exactly, right? So one of the articles I was reading stood out, and maybe that's because 2020 was the year of quarantine, right? But one of the articles starts talking about the idea of gossip as, quote, viral marketing. I think we've all heard of what viral marketing is, if a video goes viral, all of that stuff. But inside that, it then literally starts to use the metaphor of viruses. And it says that viruses are the best way to spread ideas, that this is the environment one should foster in order to get a viral idea. And it almost like, again, it's with hindsight, it feels like bad timing, but it's weird, again, that it feels like negative coded.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, of course, the broad message is, oh yeah, viral marketing. I feel like that should be talked about. But the subtext is, you need to create a virus. You must be in a toxic environment to get that virus to spread. And it is kind of like sinister the way it talks about that. Let me see if I can pull it up on the Wayback Machine.
Yeah, it's like, hey, let us be helpful, but then also at the same time, it's got like little low-key subliminal messages.
A little bit. It just felt weird. You must think of a virus as the best gossip marketing program. Viruses are smart. Viruses do not spread by chance. Viruses thrive in groups where people have many casual social connections. Remember Tupperware parties? That's a strange reference. Viruses do not become epidemics overnight. And again, I feel like this is just connecting dots that weren't meant to be there. This was written in 2018, so I don't want to sit here and be like, ooh, but like, I don't know, it stood out and it just highlights the weird nature of the writing. I don't know.
Yeah, it's very weird. Like the more you like talk about it and read other stuff, I'm like, this is weird.
Yeah.
It's weird in the sense of like, ooh, kind of mysterious and like, what's the motive here? And then you throw in even weirder where it's like, remember Tupperware parties? I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, you remember those Tupperware parties? Yeah, you're completely disarmed by like, yeah, wait, huh? Yeah, I do.
It's all, yeah, I was about to say, it's almost disarming.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't want to lean too hard into it. I'm not trying to like get too heebie-jeebie about it, but I just think that reading it, it definitely has an interesting feel to it. And part of it, I think, could just be clunky writing. It could just be that, but it also does have that negative tinge to it. So whatever the purpose of these articles were, I'll take it at face value. It was about workplace gossip, environmental relationships, how to better position yourself in the workplace, and maybe safeguard yourself from gossip. It's kind of what it's all talking about. But all of these articles were written between July 8th and July 9th of 2018. Now, as you kind of pointed out, it does seem a little hollow. There's not a lot of flash to it. It's very basic. I'm sure they took a very simple template and started making these articles. And then after 2 days, it's almost like they stopped touching it. But there's no comments on any of the posts. They're all uncategorized. And I want you to remember that because of what we're going to talk about next. But there's no categories, there's no tags, as it were. And all of these posts were made just in those 2 days and written by the same person, whoever the site admin is. And the website doesn't even have ads, so it's not like they were trying to turn this into a business right off the bat. And some of the images used on the page seem to be stolen from other blog sites such as WikiHow. And so, off the rip, my gut check kind of says that this is maybe a teenager beginning their foray into making a blog. Everybody starts somewhere.
Yeah.
And maybe they just spun out after, 2 days of doing it and no web traction.
Yeah, it was such a short time.
Yeah, but that's not really the crux of the mystery. Yes, it's a strange website. Yes, the writing's strange. But what really took Redditor attention was at the bottom of the page, at the bottom of every page, I believe, was a huge list of 2-letter prefixes, each followed by 5 asterisks. So this is going to be a little hard to describe. I do have a visual of it for you, Fredo, so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. As you pour over that visually, again, we'll post this on social and the YouTube upload task force. This is essentially a comprehensive list of every possible 2-letter combination. Of course, with 26 letters times 26, that leads to 676 of these prefixes, right?
Jesus.
So in order, you'll have AA, star, 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 AB, star, 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 AC, AD, so on and so forth, all the way down to ZZ. Does that make sense?
Yes. So is the image A2?
A2, yes. So tell us what you're seeing.
Jesus.
It's kind of a mess.
It's a mess. It's also very tiny.
It's very tiny. That might be my fault. I opened it up on a 1440p monitor.
I just see a wall of, it looks like text? Maybe some prefixes in front of it?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's got 2 letters and then 5 asterisks, and then it repeats that.
Okay, yeah. That's what it is.
Yeah. And the letters are just every possible combination.
Damn. And how many you said?
676. So you'll have AB, AC, AD, all the way through to like CD, CE, CF, all the way through to ZX, ZY, ZZ.
Damn. That's a lot.
There you go. Christian posted another image that's a little bit closer in if you want to see.
Oh, yeah, I see it now.
Mm-hmm.
Got the prefixes, 2 letters, and then, the asterisk, 5.
Yeah.
Just kind of, and this was posted on the site?
This is at the bottom of the page.
Huh.
Yeah. And as you can see, they're blue with the underline, which, again, that's a hyperlink.
Clickable?
Yeah, they're clickable.
Clickable. Ugh. I would be scared to click one, but also, like, if I started, I think I'd be scared to click one. My biggest fear is starting it. Because I click one, I kind of gotta click them all. You know?
Oh, no. Yeah, like, which one's got the Easter egg?
I can't stop at one.
You gotta have them all. Where are you starting? What prefix combo?
It's got to be like top left, or hopefully as I click it and it kind of highlights it, so now I can see it. If not, I'll start like at the third one, and then I'll start at the top left, so I can keep some kind of order here.
Yeah, you click AD and it takes you to a picture of yourself, Alfredo Diaz.
Oh my goodness!
I have some opinions on this, but I'll hold it until the theory section. Because, again, this is what really drew people's attention. And if you click on any single one of these, it actually takes you back to the exact same page. It does put the prefix value up in the URL. So if you pick on, for example, DF asterisk, it'll put DF as the prefix. Then if you scroll down to the bottom, once again, you see all of the 676 possible 2-letter combinations, but this time, instead of prefixes changing, all of the prefixes will be locked in at what you clicked. So they'll all say DF, 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 DF.
Oh.
But in this case, it'll be it's called postfix. The last 2 letters of each of these tags now has all the different combinations.
Interesting.
Take a look at the photo that Christian just posted, and you'll see what I mean.
Oh. Yeah, it's like the prefix, 3 asterisk marks, and then prefix at the end.
Mm-hmm.
So is it going to reveal words?
Right.
Like, I don't, like, what is it going to reveal here?
Right. It's like if you pick the prefix properly and then you pick the right suffix or postfix, then you pick the correct middle. Does it spell something? If you then click that spelled word, does it do something special? Like, that's what people started to throw around. But unfortunately, this is what really sucks, is because even in 2020, when Christian was like actively on that website, it seemed that nothing happened after the postfix. And so people were kind of wondering, well, is it because you don't find the right combo? Do you have to click the correct option in the first one, option in the second one? Because once you click the postfix, right, it just refreshes the page. Nothing really changes. If you go to the Internet Archive right now, and then you can still kind of click these, because thank God they've all been archived. But when you click it, you'll still go through the same thing, but it doesn't have any of the after suffix click archived. I hope that makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
You click on the prefix, you click on the postfix, and then the website kind of blanks out with an error. There's nothing to be seen.
Oh, so it's like, how can it be solved at that point?
Right. So that's what's so interesting, and that's kind of what the mystery ended up being. No one figured out what happened after this, if there was a proper combination to click, and at the time, that's almost where it was left. But then the website started to shift a little bit more. But before we talk about it, I just wanted to say I'm amazed at just how ephemeral this website appears to have been. There's essentially no record of it right now beyond a few mystery lovers who have talked about it on Reddit.
Right.
One of my faves, the Reddit Bureau of Investigation, people that explore some of these online mysteries. And literally, it's only people asking, well, what happened with that? Where is it? Where is it gone? The website, it was down until I picked it up, right? It's all just gone. So the Internet Archive has it. And I don't want to get ahead of myself because there is a Redditor that we're going to quote later on, but even that Redditor has since deleted their account. That happens. That's natural. There's nothing sinister there.
Oh, yeah.
But it just takes out all the history,
Yeah.
all the conversation.
Yes, it does.
And so I felt like this was a really interesting time to re-explore this pretty simple mystery, only because it was... sometimes we look at the lifespan of a mystery. We look how folklore becomes unknown, becomes mystery, becomes like this thing that permeates culture. Now we get to see almost like the disappearance or death of a mystery that once rattled the internet. It's really fascinating.
Yeah, because it's like also like it's kind of cool that some people know. I guess, you know, there's got to be like some people that know that are the original owners of the mystery that like might have solved it or something, and then it's just so lost to time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is wild because it's like, you know, it's like, oh, it's the internet. It's like everything is recorded, nothing lost to time. It's like eventually, you know, people stop paying for servers, things get deleted.
Yeah, dude, that is a great point. Because you're totally right. I remember like when we were young, again, going back to the idea of don't put your face on there, don't put your real name on there.
Yeah,
it's forever.
Dude, I remember that. The early days.
Dude, and we've talked about that, and it was like weird and exciting and fun. You know, I talked to a friend, this is complete non sequitur. I talked to a friend recently who's big into tech, and he's doing a lot of really cool stuff right now. But as I was talking to him, I was like, man, I was nostalgic for the 90s for being a kid. I was nostalgic for the early 2000s for the internet.
Yeah.
There was something Wild West about it. It was ugly, but it was filled with passion and interest. And I don't want to say that it's sterile now. You know, we've talked about dead internet theory, but it's definitely different. It's almost like it grew up and and put on a suit, you know?
yeah, I can see that for sure.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah, man, the young internet days. Well,
yeah.
Simpler times.
Yeah, man.
I remember also like being on Xbox Live. It's like, don't give them your real name. I'm like,
absolutely.
Who's finding your real name and what does that really, you know what I mean? Like, who's going to do anything with like your first name on Xbox Live, especially back then?
Yeah, it was just, keep everything safeguarded. But it is interesting to see just how almost readily things can disappear. Now, of course, I'm hearing my tech boys in the background saying, well, it's still forever, because there are servers that hoard all this information and data somewhere that we can't access it. So listen, if you tweet something and you decide to untweet it, it's forever. You might not be able to access it, but someone can.
Yeah.
So it's stuff like that. Yes, the internet is technically for forever, but this is an amazing example to your point but sometimes it's not. or sometimes at least public facing, it's super not. And it's amazing. Like, I would be surprised if 5 years from now, people are going, was that a Mandela effect? Did that ever exist?
Yeah.
This episode is to say, yes, it existed. Christian was there clicking on the active website. And this is so cool to explore it now because I felt it just slipping away, right?
Right.
Yeah, in a weird way, you guys talking about this is making me nostalgic.
Yeah, it is. And I'm like, it's only 2018. What are we nostalgic for?
Yeah, it's such a good, like you've been saying, Trevor, it's such a good time capsule of what the internet used to be like. And yeah,
Right.
in the process of putting this outline together 5 years ago, yeah, it was going to this website, clicking on all these different hyperlinks, seeing what led where, and just really, I mean, yeah, nothing sinister about it, but it's just kind of, it's neat in my opinion. Just see like, oh, this is, I'm curious about what this is.
Absolutely. And I feel like early Red Web days, we were definitely like, put a sandbox on your computer so if you explore these websites, it couldn't bust out of it and tap into your actual system. Or not, who knows? Calling phone numbers with our real number, who knows? But yeah, man, I mean, even if nothing else, just being nostalgic for the early internet mysteries we've explored, because like I want to explore so many, and there still are some out there, but many of them, and it's kind of like the reason why we didn't explore this one. It's relatively shallow. There's not a lot of like depth to it. And I felt like
Right.
if we covered it in the early days, it would have just fallen flat and been like, all right. But now it's almost like it might still fall flat as a mystery, but now it's kind of like seeing the evolution. What comes after mystery sometimes is not fame and just like permeating society. Sometimes it's just disappearing gently.
Yeah, which is wild to think because, like, internet, everything.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. This episode of Red Web is sponsored by EveryPlate. Have you been visiting the takeout apps more than you've been going to the gym? Well, hey, there's no judgment here. I've been known to do that a few times myself. Well, this is where EveryPlate steps in to help you feel good about what you're eating and also what you're spending on food and not blowing the budget. EveryPlate can help you dish up better habits with delicious, easy recipes delivered right to your door, including new Calorie Smart, Carb Smart, and Protein Smart options. With new Smart Wrap recipes, you can swap flour tortillas for lettuce wraps, white rice for lettuce, and potatoes for sweet potatoes to make better for you meals. Skip the store and enjoy wholesome homemade meals that cost less than groceries. I tried EveryPlate very recently, and boy, was it a treat. It comes in and it has everything that you need all packaged there for you. It gives you the recipe. It's super easy to follow, and you know that you're going to get something healthy because you're the one making it. It's so much more healthy and so much more budget friendly. I really enjoy it, and I haven't had a bad recipe from them yet. They're so tasty. Start with 50% off your first box with code REDWEB50, REDWEB50 at everyplate.com/podcast. EveryPlate offer valid with auto-renewing subscription. 50% off RedWeb50. So speaking of the Wayback Machine, if we look at April 3rd, 2019, this is the first occurrence of Face Famous no longer going to the website we've been talking about. Instead, it redirects to a different website. So again, up until this point, it's been a self-contained website at facefamous.org, hosted the articles we talked about, but now, or somewhere between March 13th and April 3rd, it's hard to tell looking back, the website now redirects to a different website called foodpets.org. It's another site filled with articles, but this time it's all about pet care. And we do have a screenshot of that, and I think that this website and the next one we're going to talk about are both active. As always, the caveat that Fredo gave, tread lightly, tread at your own risk, but I feel like they're pretty simple.
All right, I'm going to click on image B here. Pet foods. That's the title at the top. Then home, dogs, cats, other pets, contact us. How to maintain a healthy dog coat. Some automatic litter box reviews, recent posts, a search. Yeah, it just seems like literally a place that's just like, here's a blog about like, I don't know, pet gut health or, little information, tidbits.
Yeah, absolutely. It just seems like another informational site. Again, if pictures are being stolen from WikiHow, maybe that's what they're doing. They're just trying to make their own WikiHow. But what was interesting about these articles is while you can search the article text and you won't get any other results, it does seem like it's unique text. A lot of people were pointing out that it feels like it was AI generated. And this is not 2025 me saying this. This is, again, 2020, like Christian writing this down and saying it kind of feels like it's AI generated. That's the feel that this language gives off. And it's so strange because even just in these short 4 or 5 years, AI has become so much more prevalent.
Right.
Large language models, predictive text, art, for God's sake, like all of this stuff has come crashing onto the scene. I give no opinions here because that's not the point, but it does feel like early versions of ChatGPT in some way. So it's like uncanny language.
Yeah, I could see that.
What's also interesting is that throughout, and I mentioned this in one of the articles I read before on Face Famous, but throughout all of these articles, you'll have sudden ellipses, right? The ... And they'll appear mid-sentence, and then you'll just have a long pause or a long break in the paragraph before it then continues, which is another thing that people pointed out. They thought it was odd, thought it was interesting, but I will read an example of one of the articles from this website. I'm cutting out some of it, but just so you can see how this ellipsis plays out. Quote, "Dogs are loved because of their companionship. Their cuddliness and cuteness is also a factor. And a great part of their charm is the luscious coat. This is why every owner should learn how to care for it. But how do you exactly take care of a dog coat? Dog coat tips regular bathing is needed. So make sure that you ... huge gap, have the right set of tools for grooming." It's almost ominous the way have the right set of tools.
Yeah, this definitely seems AI generated. Like it's all just off.
It's just off. And it's like, again, if it's early AI, maybe they relinquished an early AI onto the scene to see what would happen. But dog coat being capitalized, sentences starting with and but, not typically the way you would write, but kind of the way you would speak.
Yeah.
But dog coat tips regular was all capitalized. So strange, right? Just more strange language.
It's very strange. It doesn't really make sense.
So this is where Christian then looked a little closer, once again going to the Whois to look up what's going on with this website. And foodpets.org was registered on May 27th, 2018, and that would be, I think, just 2 months prior to facefamous.org, with its last update being June 5th, 2020, which is just almost exactly a month before Face Famous's most recent change. So there's a few connections here. Obviously, one website points to another, so the activity being similar, not too startling. But while it was registered in 2018, the articles on the site do in fact go back earlier than that. They go back to 2015. So this website was also registered through GoDaddy, coincidentally on a server with the same location as Face Famous's, which was in Amsterdam. It was also to a registrant from Italy. And out of curiosity, I wanted to see, like, okay, are we connecting dots? Are we piecing this together? Because obviously one website points to another. So obviously there's going to be some sort of tangible relationship. But I also was just curious about GoDaddy. I used to hear commercials all the time. Yeah. And they used to be a Super Bowl commercial champion, right?
Yeah.
But as of, I think it was 2023, maybe last year, they were like the 5th largest domain registrar, and they own over 82 million domains.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So it's not like, it's weird that they have the same registrar, but it is something to think about.
So it's like the business essentially just scooping up domain names and then go buy it?
Kind of. I mean, it's kind of like any of those domain registrars. They basically make it easy because early internet, and I'm speaking completely out of thin air here, I'm not well versed on this, but early internet, it wasn't so easy, like a turnkey solution to just getting a domain name.
Yeah.
And so they do all the work of like registering it for you. But otherwise, yes, they kind of park the names. You can kind of turn that on and now you own the domain. But now they also have web hosting services, server services, website building tools. And I'm assuming because of the registrar that we use for redwebpod.com, I assume that they also must have some of those services themselves just to stay kind of more viable. But yeah, that's kind of what they do.
Yeah.
I'm curious actually, while I read ahead, Christian, if there's any way to figure out how domains were grabbed in the early days. Like, was it a really technical process or was it similarly easy and GoDaddy and other domain registrars just kind of swooped in?
Yeah.
Because I remember people used to just park websites and then like pets.com and then try to sell them or whatever.
Some people have sold domain names for a lot of money.
Yeah, dude. I'm still sitting on butts.com. Nobody's wanted it. That would be good. Okay, Task Force 4, while he looks that up, I'm going. Going to butts.com.
Oh, no.
This could go real south real quick. Oh, God. Okay, it's south.
Yep.
It's south.
Yeah. No, it's
Don't
taken.
go.
It's taken.
It's super taken. Don't go.
It's super taken.
Super taken.
It's super
Don't
taken.
go, kids. Oh. 18 plus, please. Okay.
Oh my God. I knew where that was going.
Christian, pull us out. I didn't think about it.
Looking at a quick search, it seems like domains were generally available to the public. I don't know if I believe this. It looks like as early as the 80s.
Well, there was Usenet, right? We've talked about some of that early internet, but I think before the World Wide Web, those URLs we're talking about, they were like those. I think they're technically similar, like domain names or whatever, but not kind of the .coms I'm referring to.
Yeah.
Like, did you have to set up some sort of like, did you have to code something?
Yeah, right.
Maybe Task Force can let us know because they're so tech savvy and buff minded.
Okay, yeah, it looks like it initially was a manual process that was mostly restricted to organizations that I don't know if they either had the authority or just the know-how to do so. But yeah, it looks like before registrars like GoDaddy, for example, it does seem like it was a little more, how do you say it? A little more...
Technical?
Technical, yeah, there we go.
Yeah. Well, I just imagine now that for redwebpod.com, we have like, you know, some big daddy out there chiseling stone to get like, I got to get your domain name out of here, you know, like some laborious effort. I'm like, thanks, daddy. Okay, well, this is where I want to talk about the Reddit user that I hinted at before. Reddit user Bingus_Bastardo said that when they posted about facefamous.org on Reddit Bureau of Investigation, which is a subreddit, again, big fan, shouted them out many times in the past. When they posted about it, it seems that almost in response to that, this is when the forwarding started to happen. So they posted about facefamous.org, and then it seemingly seems like a few days later, they started to forward to foodpets.org. It's hard to tell, right? This is where I love internet mysteries. I love when they react to people posting about it. When they get some attention, they go, don't look here, right? Very Lake City Quiet Pills, right?
Yep. Yeah, because it's like, I want it to myself.
Yeah. You found us. Now we got to shift. Oh man, that episode is still gnarly in my mind. The way things changed when they started getting attention, they went cryptic and then they went offline.
Yeah.
But what stinks is this Reddit user has since deleted their account. But at the time, we did look at it and we were trying to corroborate their posting history, but we couldn't find anything. Thankfully, Christian put that in the notes because, I mean, maybe I should Wayback Machine this person's Reddit account, but otherwise, it's hard to find the post that they're talking about, right? So it seems like they had two Reddit accounts, and Bingus is the one saying, I posted about Face Famous, and then they changed the website. Well, Bingus, at the time, never had anything posted about the website, so we're assuming a second count is in play, but now it's deleted, and so we'll never be able to deeply search if there is that second account. So it's uncorroborated is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
A little twisted. Let me know if that kind of lost you.
No, not at all.
Okay. Man, we're back into the thick of it. These internet mysteries get twisty-turny.
I know, but they're good though. That's to make it juicy.
They're very juicy. Yeah, juicy. So according to other Reddit users, Food Pets was at one point a phone lookup service. While this adds more twists to this breadcrumb trail that we're developing, we've only seen versions with the pet care articles, even less here in 2025. So again, I'm quoting Christian here. In 2020, we didn't really see any of this phone lookup service, and Wayback Machine isn't showing any of it either. So again, more uncorroborated Reddit accounts. Now, what's interesting is that the most recent Wayback Machine image of this website saves the redirect to foodpets.org, though this time instead of the normal prefix of www, it had the subdomain www25. And so I wanted to look up what this was. Why this strange? I've never seen this before. But there's all sorts of like www3, www5, all that stuff. And this prefix is typically used instead of www when the domain is being parked, redirected, or is up for sale. So it could just be that, you know, these websites came online, pointed to one another, and then whoever was behind it kind of disappeared and said, let's just resale or whatever.
Yeah.
So from this point, the redirect fails and we can no longer see what the page looks like. Now, kind of once again, looking back at 2020, the site was redirecting once again in late 2020, not to foodpets.org, but this time it would instead send you to a filled out Google search. And what you would see in the search bar was all caps, who called you, ? find phone numbers, and then it would designate the search to search the site enigmatario.com. So if you use Google and you want to search a specific site, you just say site:website.
Right.
So that's what it said. And obviously that would give you one very specific Google result. But Enigmatario is interesting because it's Latin for enigmatic, which of course means mysterious, but it's also Greek for riddle. Like people were saying that it's also a place/thing with riddles, potentially a cipher. And so this is only adding fuel to this mysterious fire. They're going, okay, is there something for Face Famous? Now it's pointing to this new weird website. Is this still the original owner or is this someone else?
It's shifting so much that especially now that you own it, I feel like, no, it's not the original owner. It left the owner's hands and then it just shifted around.
Yeah, it's totally possible. We do actually have, I'm getting ahead of myself, but if you want to pull it up, we do have an image of what enigmatario.com looks like. This website is also live if you want to go check it out. I would look at it through the Wayback Machine, just a little safer, but it's also a time capsule.
Okay. We see a site here. Recent post on the left side, your typical home stuff. It's like health. Acne in the first blog up here, acne scars, the imprint of adolescence.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it just seems like, I don't know, just one person after another grabbing it, that's kind of on the same wavelength, oddly enough.
Yeah. They're like, no, my blog now. No, my blog now.
My blog now, where I post stuff and it's just slightly off, maybe a little weird. I wouldn't be surprised if this is AI generated too.
I just don't know how prolific AI was at that time. Was it consumer grade yet? I don't know.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
But you got to think though that even if it's simple, that people, someone that's grabbing sites and coding on the back end has at least the ability to somewhat implement basic AI.
Yeah.
They're somewhat tech savvy.
They're smart enough, their brain is rippling with the veins and the muscles. They're the leader from the movie.
Yeah, I got some veins.
You could probably put some Cheerios in there and hold them and just snack at your leisure. What a vision.
Ugh.
The leader just holding some snacks up in there.
What a rough direction they went with that.
It's still throwing me. This episode of Red Web is sponsored by BetterHelp. Let's talk about numbers, okay? Traditional in-person therapy can cost anywhere from $100 to $250 per session, which can add up fast. But with BetterHelp Online Therapy, you can save an average of up to 50% per session. With BetterHelp, you pay a flat fee for weekly sessions, saving you big on cost and on time. Therapy should feel accessible, not like a luxury. With online therapy, you get quality care at the price that makes sense and can help you with anything from anxiety to everyday stress. Your mental health is worth it, and now it's within reach. I greatly appreciate BetterHelp as a tool for approaching therapy. Therapy can be a lot to digest, where to start, how to begin, and that's what I appreciate about their online service. It makes it easy to approach and find the right person for you. With over 30,000 therapists, BetterHelp is the world's largest online therapy platform, having served over 5 million people globally. It's convenient too.
Okay.
You can join a session with a click of a button, helping you fit therapy into your busy life. Plus, switch therapists at any time. Your well-being is worth it. Visit BetterHelp.com/RedWeb to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/RedWeb. But here's the thing. Of course, when you go to facefamous.org at this point in time, late 2020, it sends you to the Who Called You Find Phone Numbers and then that site. And so, of course, people click on that site. This is what they see. They see the website that you just looked at. Once again, just another collection of random articles, primarily this time about various health concerns and tips. For example, if you don't want to lose your memory, take care of your teeth. That's one of the articles. And in a recent post, as you kind of pointed out, this was from June 5th, 2020. A very familiar date. The title is Acne Scars, the Imprint of Adolescence. Now, this date's interesting because the first post on this website is the same day as the last update on foodpets.org. So I think it's, again, stitching the owner together so we know at least at one point in time, the ownership was transcending each of these websites. And then somewhere after 2020, I feel like that's when the ownership is up for question.
Okay.
Now, what's really interesting about this particular website is it gets off topic pretty quickly. So you can explore it now if you'd like, but as you scroll down, it moves away from health tips and acne discussions to politics and world news. Other article examples include mental health disorders in children, dental tips, allergy information, and various then articles about Middle Eastern politics. Some have reported that various links on this website show a broken phone lookup, similar to what is described for food pets. So now, this is where one of the theories will start to spark and kindle, right? So now people are like, okay, this is what I'm seeing at face value. This is what the website is telling us it is. But the second website now pointing to this one is saying find the phone numbers, and some of the links seem to point to a broken phone lookup. So again, Redditors at this time are going, is there something behind the scenes here? Is there a hidden link to click that can get me a phone number that I can call, right? We'll talk about ARGs. That's always on the mind with these internet mysteries, but that's what's really getting people intrigued.
The most intriguing thing to me is just like, it's not like, I don't know, someone's turning it into like, I don't know, they're all blogs. And then they're all just kind of like somewhat specific, narrowed down topics type thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just like very interesting. And they're all trying to be helpful. You know, it's like, I don't know. Was it just like, that's the mystery thing. Right? Did people that were grabbing this go, okay, I'll kind of maintain the same like basic structure to it?
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand how so similar it is in terms of like, I guess like the theory behind it.
Right. And what's weird too is that the names, except for food pets, the names don't have anything to do with the topic. And so if you're going to make a website like Face Famous or Enigmatario, I feel like either that's your brand name and you put all these genres of discussion under it and you categorize it where they don't have any categorization whatsoever. But instead what's happening is that they're making various websites. It's almost like, and I'm again kind of teasing one of the theories I have in a second here, but like it almost feels like it's not early internet, but it's like early attempts at SEO, search engine optimization. Like you're just throwing things out there to get search results, to get traffic, to then build a website.
But again, though, we haven't really seen ads.
No ads, no products to sell. But maybe this is just how it starts, you know?
Yeah, it's true. Or just people just kind of ahead of the time, but not quite sure how to monetize, you know? But
honestly, though, this is stuff I was doing 10 years prior. This is stuff I would do in high school or college, is start up a website. You know, do you remember Text from Last Night? It was like an old website, very similar to what a single subreddit would do, but it's like non sequitur, out of context texts that people would send into this website and they would post it, and it would just be funny. It would give you a window into what crazy party somebody had the previous night, or what they got up to, or what happened. And, you know, throughout the teens here in the 21st century, a lot of websites popped up like that. And a few of them went absolute gangbusters viral. And so, they would pour in the AdSense money until Reddit and other but like amalgamation websites. Like Reddit is great because it's just all those communities in one place. Kind of like, what was it, Dig?
Oh, yeah, Dig.
Yeah. So I don't know. I can kind of see these websites just kind of doing that. Like, let's see if I can get attention on my food pets brand. I don't know.
Yeah, but again, like we're not seeing links to things.
That's very true. I'll be honest though, if I was starting a new podcast right now, I'd probably just put it out there, no ads, to build an audience until it's ready to take that next mature step that I take with the audience, you know?
True.
As opposed to trying to put ads on it immediately and really creating friction.
True. That's a solid point.
I don't know. But that's just me, yeah. Because like what you're pointing out is the same as what others have pointed out. It was definitely interesting to a lot of people that there were no products, there was no ads. The purpose became very, I don't know, mysterious.
Yeah, and then it shifts hands. You know what I mean? So it's like,
yes.
All right. So is the mystery? Is it all one big overarching mystery, or is it just like it's just shifting hands now?
Right. Yeah. Exactly. And I'm glad you brought that up because Christian looked into it at the time. Enigmatario.com was registered on November 13th, 2019, so like a year and a half after the other ones. And it hasn't been updated since its initial launch, despite these posts happening kind of later on. It was registered through DNC Holdings. It was a tech company, maybe still is, based out of Louisiana. Now, what's interesting there is that according to Better Business Bureau, they have been in business for 13 years, but according to their own website, they've been in business for 24 years. A little snafu there. It could be just a small typo. But while most recently registered in 2019, it has changed IP and name servers multiple times over the last 15 years. And the registrant is from Mexico with a redacted name, but the organization is listed as a man named Babar Butt. So the only result, right, when you search Babar Butt, right, and we're doing everything we can to kind of like find any answers, are articles for a Pakistani political leader who was murdered back in 2017. And then there's other articles, of course, too, about a Pakistani man in the United States convicted of fraud. So suffice to say that this might be a relatively common name. There's possible connections to the fact that enigmatario.com did have a lot of Middle Eastern focused politics. So otherwise, it just kind of goes cold. There's not much else to say. The website's still up here in 2025, but that's where the trail runs cold. And since then, nothing else has further developed and everything else is kind of evaporated.
Damn.
But
so yeah, there's not enough to like go off of in a sense. But enough there that makes you question it.
Absolutely. Now, before we dive into the theories, and man, I thought this was going to be a shorter one, to be totally honest.
Yeah, we always think that.
We always think that. That's the meme here. But here's what's interesting, and I'll try to truncate this quite a bit, because the question remained, at least in 2020, were there other websites like Face Famous, right? Of course, we found out about Food Pets. Of course, we're talking about Enigmatario. But it does seem that it's connected to several other websites. I have not checked these out, so please proceed with caution if you do. But you have juleslove.net, nightparty.info, nightparty.online, goodflavors.net, nightlov.com, lovetravels.org, all these different websites. Now, 3 of them, Jules, Night Party, and lovetravels.org, are all very similar with that kind of empty WordPress feel, right? There's blogs, there's articles written by the site admin with no name. They're all uncategorized, no comments seen. And what's interesting is that juleslove.net was registered December 27th, 2017 through a different registrar, but still pointing to Italy. It had articles consistently written up until May of 2020 and dating back to May of 2012.
Oh, wow.
And all of the articles were written by the admin. Then you have nightparty.info. That was registered July 2nd, 2018, also through GoDaddy, also pointing to Italy. It's the same day that Face Famous was registered. Has 5 articles. They vary slightly. They talk about wedding parties, wedding DJs, pool lighting, something that I could honestly use right now as we're doing the final touches on our wedding planning right now. But all this is to say, right, lovetravels.org, that was registered mid-2019, also GoDaddy, also Italy. The main thing I think that this is important to point out is that, yes, these websites are strange. They're weird. They're early 2000s vibes.
Yeah, they are.
They point to things. They have cryptic elements to them. But now I'm stepping into the theories. I think, and I already kind of explained it, I feel like these are just failed website launches. I feel like it is a serial website entrepreneur who is developing a bunch of different ideas, cobbling up the URLs that he can, putting out articles that are kind of half thought, just word vomit, just to get some material started.
Yeah, some clicks.
Yeah.
Maybe some traffic, seeing what hits.
Maybe some traffic, yeah. But it seems like none of them really took off. And maybe they got offended when Reddit started going, what's this weird website? And he goes, hey, I worked hard on that. And so he changed it, you know?
Yeah, that's true. It could have been like that.
Yeah. But I don't know, this could explain maybe the strange names behind it, because it is tough to get a URL these days that is super, super clean and minimal. But I still go back to those prefixes and those postfixes. What were those tags at the bottom of the Face Famous, you know?
Right. And like, I don't know, they had like a progression to them, you know? So like,
yeah.
But that's the thing. It wasn't just like, I don't know, back-end coding stuff that just made it to the foreground.
Right. Like I felt like
there was a meaning and there was a point to it.
Yes. It felt like, you're right, like a path. Like I click on this one and I enter phase 2. Oh, clicked on the wrong one, got to start over. It felt like a puzzle. And that's where a lot of people landed. They thought, okay, these are weird websites and it's just filler text, because sometimes ARG just has filler text to create an ambiance, to create that environment. And so under the guise of an ARG, people were like, well, maybe that's what it is. Let's keep looking. Let's keep poking. But if it was an ARG, it certainly dropped the ball or was no longer maintained, because nobody was able to progress. Nothing new came around. Nothing garnered intrigue. And so that is a totally viable and honestly very believable angle, is that this was a puzzle or an ARG that only just begun, and then something happened to the author. Maybe it was an Italian man, and they just gave up, maybe because it became too difficult or what have you. But
yeah, I kind of agree with that, actually. Just a bunch of like failed startups. I mean, who knows? Maybe all the links too were just like their attempt at some kind of mystery.
Yeah,
because maybe they saw that was trending.
Absolutely, it's totally possible. And what comes to mind too is, again, that SEO. Like, if you're trying to put out every possible combination of letters, and when you click those, you get every possible combination of the end of a word, like, maybe that was just a way to brute force have every known 7-letter word on your website, and so maybe that would help with search traffic. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just like weird, but I mean, that's what a lot of people were doing.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of people were doing back then, and honestly, kind of ahead of its time. It just never hit, right?
True, but that kind of gives me, like I said, I was doing similar stuff in my coding classes in high school, and so it does kind of make me think: is there something much more mundane here beyond just failed website launches? Was this coding exercises? Were these school projects, or maybe even simply spam from somebody who was just practicing website development? Like, maybe this person now works at a high profile, maybe they work at GoDaddy, and they're just building out websites for you.
Yeah.
But there were some other theories at the time. Of course, you have the idea that there was something nefarious going on. Were these websites networking once again together to build some sort of pathway to either, like, the articles being the front, but all of the tags and the Google search and the phone lookup were ways for people that knew how to use the website to actually do something else, right? So it has this very nice facade, like, oh, this is just a helpful website. Let me go on my business. But actually, if you click the wall opens up and it's Diagon Alley and there's wizards blasting things around. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Yeah. But except it's like nefarious, right? Maybe there's some sort of black market deal happening. Who knows? That's fun to think about, but there's not much else to point to say. And then, of course, a more mundane one, domain hoarding. It's possible that even in 2018 that you can park a website that might be a compelling name in the future. This has happened for video games. It's happened for movies, where people buy whatever.com, and then sometime 10 years on, someone's like, I really need whatever.com because my movie whatever's coming out. And so you're like, okay, 50 grand or, whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
You Dr. Evil them.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, that's true. I mean, there's like a nuance, right? To grabbing a site, having a site, timing too. So I could see that.
Yeah. I mean, Face Famous could be an interesting name for, like, I don't know, a social media platform, but Food Pets is just awkward. So they're definitely like the B tier superhero for domain hoarding.
Oh yeah,
but,
no, 100%. They didn't quite get it, but I mean, like, right now everyone was gonna get it.
Yeah, I mean, I do think there's something cool about the idea of like a Greek website, Enigmatario. If that just means enigma to them, then that's like grabbing enigma.com or mystery.com. That is kind of cool.
Yeah,
and could be valuable. But the last theory I think is super, super intriguing. And we did a whole episode on this topic, the idea of dead internet theory. And this suggests, right, we talked a little bit about AI. We didn't talk about bots. I mean, they're not necessarily the same. Bots can be hard-coded to go do very specific tasks. And that theory, right, started as a meme, but in recent years has become a lot more prevalent on the mind. And that says that a majority of the internet, whether it be activity, traffic, content that's generated, all comes from bot activity and AI.
Oh, yeah.
And over the years, statistically, we've actually gotten really, really close to it. I forget actually what the split was. We did talk about that, at the turn of becoming indie, the dead internet theory. And in that, we were forecasting based on statistics that we're about to hit that 50% threshold where a majority becomes bots or AI, which is wild.
I hate that. I honestly,
I kind of want to get offline more than be on it anymore. And for various reasons, but like maybe that's part of it. I see a generation in the near future that goes, wow, you went online? You know, you use it to like send things, you use it to like stream stuff, but otherwise you're like, you went to social media? Ugh.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially because like, I forgot what it was. And I think as, you know, we learned back then was the fact that like, you know, even if you had say 100K followers, it was like less than 3% of the people following you see your actual like tweet. And so I was like, oh, what the hell's the point if like,
right,
it's such a little percentage, you know, you build up this huge whole social media following. And
absolutely, yeah.
yeah.
And listen, algorithms are a double-edged sword. They can help people blow up overnight with their amazing creativity and storytelling. They can find you an audience like that, right? But at the same time, I fell out of love with that almost immediately because I always saw on YouTube, at least, right? I subscribe to people like a magazine. I want that delivered in my inbox monthly. You know, that's what I want to read. And when it goes full algorithm, you start to fade that out and it goes to the background. I have to go manually find those folks again. Even though I've been subscribed for years, that felt weird to me. But that's the world I grew up in.
Right.
You know, some people grow up in the world where it's just constantly delivered to you and it watches what you watch and figures you out. And there's a value to that 100%. But it's just like not the way I would, I don't know, want it to be handled. That's just me. But
I completely agree.
But with the idea of dead internet theory, right, it kind of goes on to say that maybe these websites were purely built by AI, and maybe it was an early version of AI. And again, these theories come from 2020, which is pretty cool because it ended up being pretty prophetic. But the wrinkle here, I did take some of these articles and put them into, there are websites that can check for AI writing, and they're not 100% accurate. And they all have, some can say it's 100% AI and some will say it's 2% AI, right? With the same text.
Yeah.
But I tried it in like 5 or 6 different checkers and they all came up as pretty much 100% human. And so that would be a weird thing for early AI to fool these modern AI writing detectors. So I do think someone wrote these. I don't know if it's going to be dead internet, but I do love the idea that that came around on this one. But that is kind of it. Not much else to say as far as theories. I feel like the story was getting so titillating and then it disappeared.
I know. Yeah, we get into like the URLs and you click on it, the prefixes, and then like it fills in the back end and then there's 3 asterisk marks. So like my mind automatically was like, well, hold on, we went from 5 asterisk marks to 3 asterisk marks. How do I get to 2 or 1 or none?
Yeah.
And then it changes hands and I'm like, what? And even then it's like, I don't know. Like it still stayed like a blog, you know what I mean? And the pet foods and then the other stuff. And I'm just like, all these still seem like all in line, or it's like, hey, we're trying to be a little helpful. And these might be like trending topics or, you know, high value topics for SEO stuff, like you were saying, which is a great point. And it just faded out.
Yeah. I mean, I read the other day that there are millions of YouTube videos just hanging out with 0 views.
Damn.
And it really and it just really, because there's countless at this point. I don't even know what the stat is anymore. It's been years since I knew the actual stat. How many hours of content go up every minute?
Oh yeah.
And it's like 3, maybe 4 or 5 digits now. I really don't know. But all that is to say is, again, dead internet or not, I don't know. But all that is to say is maybe this was just as exciting as it could have been. Just one of those things where someone put some effort in and we criticized their writing and then they said, you know what? I give up.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Maybe they're taking a shot at like, you know, maybe they were ahead of the curve and they were taking their shot.
Yeah. You never know, right? Every website that's popped off started somewhere. I love the idea that this could have been an ARG. I really wish that this was true, but we'll never know. It feels very much like a failed website launch, but I think with that, you still have the questions of the strange names, the strange writing style, but specifically those prefixes and those suffixes, and then that strange Google search page that said, who called you? Find phone numbers, right? And that's it. We started to crack into something.
I know.
And then it went away.
It was wild because the key word here went away. And also in the sense of like, you know, some of it's lost to the internet, which is like, what? How?
Yeah. Man, I don't know what to do with this website now. I want to respect the mystery that was.
we own them.
I just don't know what to do with it. Cause like now I feel like there's a little pressure here. If I started my own ARG, I'll never live up to the hype, you know? I don't want to monetize it. I don't want to turn this thing into some sort of like, I don't know, money vessel, but I also I just don't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
And it was fun to do a little prank on you. But beyond that, like someone's going to, what happened to facefamous.org? They're going to go there and be like, well, who's Alfredo?
Oh, yeah.
Like, I almost feel like it should just.
Well, it leads in the red web.
Oh, yeah. It just says red web. And people are like, what is that? I just feel like maybe it should just be this podcast episode that dissects what it once was. And so it can stand.
Yeah, that's a great default.
Yeah. Like that way you like, okay, this is what was once here. And that's all we know. And that's all we can know because it's all gone now, period. You know?
Yeah.
Maybe that's what I'll do.
Damn.
Yeah. Well, Task Force, this was a wild one. This was a twisty-turny. But Fredo, I'm very curious on your final thoughts here. I feel like we kind of aired it all out, but I'm also curious on your final thoughts on just kind of jumping back into the deep end of an internet mystery.
I think it's fun. I think it's like, I don't know. It feels like kind of like, the future. A lot more mysteries. Mm-hmm. I mean, hell, the governments have like internet crime divisions, And so
yeah, dude. Wow.
I feel like it is kind of the future in terms of like mysteries and how they're gonna have a big technological I think we'll also always have the classics, right? But yeah. I think a lot of more modern day stuff is gonna have huge tech aspects to it.
Yeah.
I mean, you're already seeing that a handful, right? Where it's like, well, we had the text messages or this phone call recording or we have the internet history, etc. But I feel like it's going to get even more in depth where it's like, we have this very clear security footage camera, which, we kind of already there too. But tracking the GPS location of their phones. And it's like, it's just going to be so heavily incorporated around technology.
Absolutely.
Which honestly, unless it's a crime of passion, why are you doing it?
Right. Yeah, no, I'm totally with you. I agree that the internet is still the next frontier. What do they say in Star Trek? They say the internet, the final frontier. And I feel like for mysteries, whether it be true crime or just unsolved stuff that is super intriguing, I do feel like we're still in the early stages of the internet opening up to be that new vessel.
Right.
And we're going to see new mysteries come and go. And we're going to kind of watch it in real time. But it's a really fascinating place for not only new, like you said, new tools and developments to study past crimes and try to figure things out from the past, but also it's a new platform to see whether it be crimes or just mysteries happening now. Again, I always point back to Lake City Quiet Pills, but you also have websites like Mortis and Captain Coochie's Key Lime Pies. That was another strange one. Yeah. Markovian Parallax Denigrate. All sorts of, we've done a lot of internet mysteries, some small, some big ones. But yeah, lots of internet-based mysteries. Oh, right, Eratus, the word that you can't Google, because if you Google it, people started disappearing from the internet as soon as they would talk about it. Oh, that was really cool. But I love the internet mysteries because regardless of how few and far between they are, I love how interactive they are.
Right.
And even if they are just an ARG, it's cool. That's that early Blair Witch marketing thing that was just so cool. I mean, even Cloverfield did it. But yeah, with that, we come to a close on facefamous.org. Task Force, let us know if there's anything more clever or more intriguing we can do with Face Famous out of respect to the mystery that once was. But with that said, Fredo, I'll see you right back here next Monday for yet another mystery.